Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ron, your host, and for this review, we're going to be taking a look at a comedy which starred none other than the Monty Python crew themselves, and this stars Graham Chaplin, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, Terry Jones, Eric Idle, Michael Palin, written by the Monty Python crew themselves, 1983's Monty Python, The Meaning of Life. Now, The Meaning of Life is a movie that I'm going to tell you right now, I love Monty Python. I think personally, Monty Python, in my opinion, is probably one of, if not one of the best, funniest guys, one of the funniest comedy duo. They were the first comedy duo to come out of England, and they predate a lot of the comedy groups like Broken Lizard, and I do believe predates SNL when it comes to that. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Monty Python's Meaning of Life, like I said again, this was a 1983 film, and basically what they should have just called this, they should have called it Monty Python's Flying Circus, the movie. And that's what this pretty much is. It almost feels like if they took unaired sketches from their TV show, Flying Circus, and put it into a film. Now, that's not necessarily to say this is a bad movie, but I'm going to be honest, it wears out thin. Like, let's talk about the movie itself. So, this movie centers around different skits. Yes, skits. So this feels like sort of, like I said again, if Flying Circus was a feature film. So there is a film before this, and it's like a minute. I forget what it's called. I don't know. I'll tell you what it's about. Basically, it's a bunch of these office workers, a bunch of these elderly men who decide they want to become pirates. So they go to, they're riding this sort of like office building as if it was like a pirate ship. Kind of similar to, basically take the idea of the Pixar movie Up, but instead of balloons, it's wheels. And instead of like the three main characters in that, it's a bunch of these elderly people. So they're riding this house as a pirate ship, and they're attacking a bunch of these office workers. So yeah, and they attack them by shooting out drawers, and they're just using their swords as bookcases, and in the very end, they fall off a cliff, and that ends that segment. It's actually pretty funny though. So that one's short and sweet. It actually is pretty clever and actually kind of cute at times. Especially when they fall off a cliff, that's pretty darn funny. Okay, so that's that. And the Universal logo is shown in that short film. Then it starts with a special presentation. Then it says, our feature presentation, 80s Universal logo, and the main movie starts. So, right off the beginning, we get these like fish. Yes, talking fish. Talking fish. I am not joking when I think of talking fish. And they're like saying, hello, 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 hey, we're there. Oh no, that's our friend, he's gonna get eaten. So that's kind of clever though. And then we get the intro, which is that Terry Gilliam style. The animation art is done by Terry Gilliam. So he did a lot of the animation like Flying Circus, Holy Grail, Life of Brian. This is actually Monty Python's third movie. After Life of Brian in 1979, Enter Meaning of Life. Like I said again, this is an 83 movie. I want to say Yellowbeard was their last movie. Was Monty Python's last. But anyways, yeah. So the intro is really good. Eric Idle, out of out of all the Python crew, Eric Idle is my favorite of all the Monty Python guys. I think he's the funniest. He's the funniest of all those guys. Now, I have covered a few Eric Idle films on the channel, Splitting Hairs and Dudley Do-Right. So that's, yeah. So it's a bunch of these different skits. So after the intro, we get the miracle of life where a woman is giving birth to this baby, but we don't know what it is, and it's just Cleese plays the doctor. I believe Palin's also the doctor, and they give birth to the child, but for some reason they cut the umbilical cord with a meat cleaver. And I'm sorry, guys, but you go to the level of just being plain gross. That right there just... I'm going to talk about some big negatives with this. And you cut the umbilical cord with a meat cleaver. I mean, it's supposed to be funny, but it's not. It just comes out gross. So that ends that. Then we get to Palin again, and he plays a man who's in Yorkshire. So he's walking in Yorkshire. I think it's Palin, or maybe it's another guy. So a man's walking in Yorkshire, and we see a stork, or a cartoon stork, just drop the baby down the chimney. Bizarre, but weird. Then we go to Palin, who is Palin's character, who's in an orphanage, singing a song about sperm. That is actually pretty funny, and I feel with the Python crew, the song is weird. It's a fun song in a weird way. So the woman who's running it, well, it's a guy who's playing a woman running an orphanage, and another baby drops down, and that's even weird. Then we get to the orphanage with a bunch of kids, and yeah, it's weird. And they talk about how Catholic, Roman Catholic, Christian, just weird stuff. And they sing a song about sperm, and it's just weird. We get most of the kids in the orphanage are all like not even, they never had baths. And I'm not even going to say what that is, but I just don't want YouTube to get me for saying that. But it's just bizarrely weird. So you have to watch it to find it. Just look it up on YouTube and you can hear the song. But the song is very catchy in that weird way. And then at the end of the song, kid's like, "Did you cut off your balls?" And then he's like, my boy, I didn't really do that. You don't get the point, my boy. He's like, "My boy, you don't get the point." And just ends that. It's really weird. It's weird how they just have that set up, and it's just, you have to watch it to find out. So that's that segment. Enter another segment where we're introduced to, I believe, I totally forgot most of this, but we enter, I don't know, I'm trying to think. There's just a bunch of these skits. It's not like a feature film where I can remember scene to scene to scene. This is like a bunch of skits. Like, another skit we get, I'm not going to tell most of the skits, you're just going to have to watch them yourself to find out what they are. So there's one particular skit, and that's near the end, and we see a really overweight man who, oh wait, I'm sorry, after the sperm song, we enter John Cleese, who plays a teacher at an England school. So he's teaching the students about sex. Yes, he's teaching them about basically how to have sex with a woman. So he's there, the woman comes out, turns out it's the teacher's wife, and she comes out, and he's there undressed. You can see Cleese's butt hang out in the movie. It's very, very weird. And yeah, just like that, it just, weirdness happens. It's just, again, you'll have to watch. So that's that segment. Then we get another one where apparently he has to cut open a guy has a liver donation, so they had to go get organs for something else. And that's, again, just like I said about the cutting the umbilical cord with a meat cleaver. There's another scene, Cleese plays another doctor who, this guy, he's like, we need your organs. And then he's like, would you like to donate your organs? It's like, no. And then he comes and looks at the card, it's your liver card. And then all of a sudden he goes and pushes a guy and he's cutting the liver. That's gross. I had to look at the floor because I don't know. It made me want to vomit, and just, not really vomit, but made me question myself. Where's the joke? I mean, it's like a whole minute of it cutting and like blood. You can see like Gorgon's like, ugh, really? Oh, like sitting there almost about ready to just... It made me sick to my stomach. Stuff like that it's not funny, it's just gross. I'm sorry. Monty Python guys can make me laugh, but when they go to the extreme, you got clever stuff, but you also got gross stuff. And I should not have to be grossed out when I watch a movie. Okay, I'm back. So, sorry that I kind of got that crazy, but yeah, where was I? I'm trying to think. The liver scene, I forgot. Yeah. So they're trying to cut the liver, and all of a sudden, the wife of the husband wants it. So Eric Idle is in it, and he plays the guy that sings a song to her about the life and all that. So we get another scene where... I'm not even going to mention that. I don't want the YouTube police to come at me when I do mention that, but yeah, it's just bizarrely weird at times. So, yeah. Next segment I want to talk about, the next skit in this, is you got Cleese, who plays a waiter, this overweight guy who comes in, and he like vomits everywhere. So, that's pretty much that. Cleese hands him something to eat, and then he explodes, and you can literally see the insides of him, and that's pretty much that. So, now we're going to the last segment is about death. So, yes, this is about the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper comes out. So, we got a guy running away from a bunch of women, and there is nudity in this, guys, so I'm going to have to explain this. So we got a guy that's running away from a bunch of these topless women who are wearing helmets. So they're topless. He's trying to run away from them, and then he's slides. He's trapped, and all of a sudden he jumps down. He lands into the hole where the graveyard's at, and the priest says, "Ashes to ashes, dust to dust." Enter the Grim Reaper, and Grim Chaplain, Eric Idle. Eric Idle plays his wife. Yes, Eric Idle is in drag as that. So he invites Grim Reaper Death over for basically do come in for a drink. So the Grim Reaper is all mad, and all of a sudden he wants to he basically touches them, and they all die, and they go to heaven. And it's beautifully done. So now they're in heaven. And that pretty much ends that skit, and pretty much ends the whole entire movie. We get sort of a subplot with Michael Palin in drag, talk about, like, you're halfway through the film, and then he says, end of film. Then we see the flying circus opening, the TV fly credits. So that's the movie. So, is there anything I like about Meaning of Life? Terry Gilliam's art style, some of the songs, there's one particular song that Eric Idle sings at the restaurant with the guy, with Cleese. He sings a song that's called It's Always Nice to Have a Penis. And I'm like, you get a song about sperm, now you get a song about penises. It's just as weird as the two kids. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the sperm song. They're literally, most kids are dirty, but there are also 4 kids in a bathtub. as they're getting washed. So I had to explain that. I hope I don't get the YouTube police to come after me because of that alone. Literally, kids in a bathtub during that song. Bizarrely weird. So, yeah, we had a sperm song and a penis song. So, those are kind of clever. The sperm song is a ton of fun in a weird way. So, let's talk about that, some of the positives and the art style. But most of it is just gross. And in whole, for a movie from the Monty Python crew, I was disappointed. It did make me chuckle and smile a little bit. But when you have a movie that features the Monty Python crew with skits and make a film with just skits, I feel like these are just skits that were made good in the show Flying Circus. And I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't a fan of Flying Circus. I think Holy Girl and Life of Brian are the best movies that the Monty Python team did. But ultimately, it just fall flat. Flat. And just, I don't know. The fish stuff was creative, and, you know, again, this is a weird way. Is this a bad movie? No, I was entertained. I mean, I kept focus on the movie. Let me explain this, guys. I like movies. I like skits and stuff like that. I like Saturday Night Live. I even like Nickelodeon's All That when it was good. I like stuff like that. But trying to put a bunch of skits make it into a feature film, it just doesn't work. With Holy Girl and Life of Brian, they work because they were actual movies. This again, this feels like it's skit after skit after skit to the point it's not funny. But again, I did like the scene with the Grim Reaper. That's clever because again, the Grim Reaper is just. He is just mean, nasty all around. Also, it was cool to see Graham Chaplin without a beard, because if you watch him in the role King Arthur or Brian in those movies, he had a beard. It's great to see him without a beard, or if you count his appearance in the Iron Maiden music video, Can I Play With Madness, which actually was his last role. In terms of film role, this was Chaplin's last movie because Graham Chaplin passed on the year I was born, 1989. So, yeah, I want to say this isn't terrible, but I could see why. I could see why this movie, it's weird. You have to watch it to find out, but again, your mileage may vary. You just have to depend upon who this is right for you. If you're a fan of Monty Python, you might want to check it out. But the question I ask, is this going to be on the worst list? And I'm going to give you a hint right now, and the answer is no. But it's definitely going to be in an honorable mentions bad. Now, when I do rate this film, I'm going to give it probably if this movie made me laugh at most of the skits, then I would say it's an average but passable comedy from the 80s. And I'm a big fan of movies made in the 80s. I love all these guys. I love Eric Idle. I love John Cleese. I think these guys are talented. Most of them went on to have careers. In fact, Terry Gilliam would actually go on to direct a few movies for Universal Studios. So yeah, this movie, oddly enough, Terry Gilliam would direct some of these movies, but this one was handed to Terry Jones to be in the directing chair. Like I said, it was written by the Monty Python crew, so I can tell you right now, they can make you laugh. I did watch the introduction. Well, I didn't watch the introduction first, but I did watch the introduction afterwards. And Eric Idle said in that introduction, there is going to be a ton of TNA, but if you get over that, have fun with Meaning of Life. I almost want to call it Life of Brian, but it's Meaning of Life. So, if you do want to check this out, it's not a terrible watch. If you love Monty Python like I did, I never seen this. This is a first time watch for me. I've never seen an ad for this on the Animal House DVD. They're promoting this. My uncle had this movie in his collection, but we didn't get around to watching it. And then I had just the 1-disc release. Then I upgraded to a 2-disc. I was going to the 2nd disc to see if there was a trailer, and no, there's no trailer on this. So yeah, there is actually a director's cut with 3 deleted scenes. I might do this as a re-review and watch the director's cut when I do watch this next time. Because I'm going to tell you right now, despite it being not very good, I'm still going to keep it because I'm going to do a re-review of this, but with the director's cut. So I'll judge the director's cut. But I did watch the regular cut to see if anything has changed with the 3 deleted scenes and see if anything happens. But there's actually a good chunk of special features on here. I didn't watch any of those because I ran out of time because I had to get a review up. But this is more sort of like a cautionary tale that not all things Monty Python can make is good. I wasn't a fan of Flying Circus. I love Holy Girl. I think Holy Girl is one of my favorite comedies. I love Life of Brian. Life of Brian's great. That was like the first R-rated Monty Python movie. Because Holy Grail's PG. And that movie could be great for the entire family. This movie, not so much. I wouldn't even show this to a kid. Not even a 13-year-old. I had this back in the day on VHS. But I never watched that VHS. Then the special edition DVD came out. I believe this was 2003. Though, weird enough, it doesn't say anywhere what widescreen format it is. On the disc, this is a 185 by 1 anamorphic widescreen. So if you're wondering which widescreen it is, this is anamorphic. So if you have a Blu-ray player that is anamorphic, it will fill up your screen. I didn't watch it on my Blu-ray player. But I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. I'm kind of recommending it just because, like I said, your mileage may vary. You might like it. You might have a better time than I am. You might think this is better than Holy Grail, but nothing's better than Holy Grail. It's the greatest comedy ever made. But as a film, this is more of a cautionary, not really cautionary tale, but it just shows an example that not everything Monty Python puts out is gold. But it's alright. So yeah, that's that. So let's go ahead and rate it. You might be surprised with this rating, but I'm going to give Monty Python Meaning of Life, this might shock you, a 3 out of 5. And the reason I gave it a 3 out of 5 is I think this movie works as sort of like you put this in if you want to just a comedy. It's weird. The animation's good. A couple of songs are actually somewhat fun. But in a whole, this movie, like I said, this movie's not making it on my worst list. There's a ton of other worst movies on the list. This movie is definitely going to be in the honorable mentions bad category. And I'll explain why when I get to that that worst list when I'm finished with it near the end of the year. So I would probably say check it out if you really want to check it out. If you are a fan of Monty Python or you're completist like I am, you might want to pick this up though. I didn't pay much for this. Like I said, I got this out in the wild from a buddy's stand, as I normally always do, but yeah, check it out if you guys want to see it. If you like Monty Python, you want to see their second to last movie. I didn't see Yellowbeard, so I can't say if that's any better. But as a film, it's not bad, especially for creepy fish. Yeah, these fish guys. So, yeah. The minute short before this was actually pretty good. That was pretty funny. So I thought, okay, I'm in for a treat. But in the end, it after it went from that song, it kind of went down, then it went back up, then it went down, and it just ends. It ends. It just ends. There's no happy ending. There's no bad ending. It just ends. So that's my review of Monty Python, The Meaning of Life. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content channel, you can like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, click the bell to get all my video notifications on my Letterboxd, guys, so you can check me out there as well. So, yeah. So, check out Meaning of Life, I guess. It's average, but average fun. So, yeah. And that's it. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.